to the podcast version of colonic irrigation for your anxiety and or depression. Welcome to Story Lords, the prop-based fiction podcast with 2 stories, 3 prompts, and infinite laughter. I'm Rich Masters, and with me as always is Josh Henderson.
Colonic irrigation. I know what that is, but Jeff says he doesn't know what that is.
It's when they put a tube up your butt and wash all the poop out.
Oh, what do they call that here? They call that
an
something.
enema.
No, it's got like a different name.
It's called an enema.
No.
Also, is that how you cure depression? Have I been going about it the wrong way this whole time?
I mean, if you've got depression of the butt.
Wow. My butt's pretty happy.
And also, Jeff Pennington's here.
Hello.
Hello.
Our prompts this week were dangerous. Dicks and dominatrixes, or dominatrices, however you want to pronounce
Dominatrixes.
Yeah.
That's how I spelled it, like Jeff said it.
Yeah, with 3 X's.
Oh, fucking, at least.
Yeah.
It either means it's boozy or porny.
Maybe both.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
Get your kids out of the room for this one. I mean, it's kind of fucked up if you're letting your kids listen to this anyway, but this time especially.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't let your kids listen to this show.
If you
You
want...
should definitely make kids by listening to this show. Like, put this on and fuck.
I think if you, if we say it's not for kids, it's only so that the kids who are listening know how cool they are.
Yeah. It's for teenagers.
I just immediately pictured when Josh was like, make babies to this, that like instead of the Vitizen tunes, we just have that one song that's like...
Wait, what is that?
I don't know.
What the fuck are you singing?
You guys don't know about that?
No!
I'll take a quick tangent. There was this guy who posted a like a Reddit like "Am I the asshole" thing where like he had sex for the first time with like it was the girl who posted it, his girlfriend, who was like, "Is this weird that he has to play this weird fucking song every time we have sex?"
Oh, I remember that.
And
I don't remember that one.
And it sounded exactly like what I just did. Like there's a little bit of a drum and that's it. And
I
that
mean,
sound.
I mean, is the sex good? Because if it's
She's
good,
like, no, it's not good, because he fucks to that tune. Which sounds impossible to me.
there's like a robot just shimmying, just
Like,
shifting
move
his
your
dick
hand back
around.
and forth for this.
She's fucking Hume.
Oh, fuck, it's
Alright, so
Huey.
it's good then.
Oh, I don't
I
know,
would think
man.
it was.
Sex mode enabled.
Playing sex tune.
You are looking very sexual tonight. May I penetrate your vagina?
I would like to put my human peener inside of your orifice.
It's a whisk.
All right.
Oh, God.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know. We can't blame him.
You hit somebody's fetish like on the head of the nail just then.
Yeah.
Someone just came.
The 2 people making a baby right now just both came.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. You got to name your kid Hume now.
with a 1 and a 3.
With a 1 and a 3. I was thinking the other day, like, when I'm writing Hume, when I'm describing him, I write H-U-M as capitals and then a 1 and a 3. But when anyone says it, I write it like Hume, H-U-M-I-E. And
Yeah, it's just easier, right?
I hadn't realised I'd done that. But I suppose if you were talking to him, you wouldn't think of it as a number, would you?
No, you do it like how they do it in the Star Wars books. They always like write out
3PO. Yeah.
You need to have Q show up and be like, "Is there a hum 13 here?
Is there a hum 13 here?"
Right. Josh, you're up first today, buddy.
Right.
Josh has got his shirt off as well. I just want to let everyone know he's half nude.
It's our first shirtless episode of
There's
the
only
season.
so many times this couple can come.
The refractory period on the show is 10 seconds.
Wow.
All right. My episode is called, I named it. It's called
Hey!
All That Gunk Inside That Trunk.
Nice.
Okay, here we go. What you gonna do with all that gunk? All that gunk inside your trunk. I'ma get you drunk. Get you drunk on all my gunk. Get you jizz drunk off my hump, sang Peppercorn as the gang trudged their way southward toward the great desert. I'ma get enough, shouted Sid as he rubbed his temples. You've been singing that song for like 3 fucking weeks, man. Sorry, Sid. It's an earworm, you know? Peppercorn said dejectedly. Inside of Peppercorn's ear, a tiny little worm was tuning his violin and looked straight at the camera. What? We're really worms here. At least I'm not yelling at my emotionally abused son or waving a gun around. It's a living, said the earworm as he counted down from 3.
Those were quite specific.
Yeah, I don't know. How does he know? I don't know. It's been on my all-C pod for weeks, and I just can't help it. I mean, look at this absolute unit of a troll beauty who sings this song. Fergus-licious. Peppercorn held up the all-C pod for everyone to see. On it was a brick shithouse of a troll with triple Ds and an ass that could single-handedly act as an aluminum can crusher in your dad's backyard during grilling season.
Wow.
And a back hump that would make Marty Feldman do a triple spit take, which is when you do a double take, a spit take, and your peener also does a spit take by 3ing.
Wow.
If there was one thing I thought would never get brought up on this fucking show, it was probably Marty Feldman.
Everyone's quitting fucking right now, and they're furiously Googling who Marty Feldman is.
Yeah, I'm not.
And then
doing
they're gonna start doing it again.
Then they're gonna get horny all over.
I know who this guy is. Never mind.
Oh, I get it, Fred said, rolling his eyes. That's not a Quasimodo, Chick said. That's a full-blown moto. We've been traveling for weeks, and we can't seem to catch up to Gunk and that hell cunt bitch tits, or whatever her name is, Fred said, throwing a rock like Superman into the vast desert that stretched before them. It would later land in a forest area where a merc monk would hear it thud against his treehouse while he was trying to rekindle his sex life with his merc wife. God damn it, the merc monk said mid-pump.
Just listen to this podcast, Merc Monk. You'll get back on track.
They haven't gotten it yet. He put on his bathroom and hurriedly went out onto his front porch. He looked down to see a pretty big-sized rock in terms of Merc Monk scale. I see you got rock problems there. Classic rock infestations, Jerry the cardinal neighbor said, shaking his head. Yeah, thanks, Jerry. Very observant, you fucking putz, said the Merc Monk. What you ought to do is get yourself a little spray bottle with some dish soap, some white wine vinegar, and scrot of newt. Mix that all together, let it sit a spell, then you spritz that all around the tree, and there you go, boom! No more rocks, Jerry said, lighting up a cigar he held in his wing.
This guy rules, actually.
Yeah, thanks, Jerry. I'll fucking kill you, said the Merc Monk as he marched back into the treehouse, slamming the door on the way in. The problem, Chick began to say. Yeah, now we're back at the main part of the story. Try and keep up. The problem is...
Whiplash.
We've been, trying to coordinate our efforts with the questing team from the future. We'll, call them Team B for now. Ugla is no B-teamer, Sid yelled. He would be damned if anyone called his lover a B-teamer. Okay, sure. We'll be like Team B, Chick said, acquiescing. The fuck we are, Fred said, throwing another rock into the desert. The faint yell of, oh, for fuck's sake, could be heard hundreds of miles away. Okay, we'll be like Team Flamingo, and they'll be like, I don't know, Team Kitty Cat, Chick reasoned. Mew, 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 Socks yelled in objection. Oh, my grob, Chick said, now rubbing her tiny temples. Okay. We'll be Team Flamingo, and they'll be Team Sister Lover, because Ugla is your sister, Fredo, and she's like your sweet lover that you never shut the hell up about, Sid. I don't know how I feel about that name, Fred said, wincing. I kind of like it, Peppercorn said, smiling. In fact, I really like it. Chickpea took a solid 3 steps away from Peppercorn as everyone just looked at him in silence. So, as I was saying, the problem is Team Flamingo is trying to coordinate our efforts with Team Sister Lover. Chickpea began to draw magical runes of PowerPoint from all around. Fred said, shuddering physically from the name of Team B. We have to stop and guide them or draw some art marker. I have to enchant it and protect it. It's just slowing us down. Like, if we were in the olden times, we'd be fighting the Battle of Helm's Deep, while Axewound would be already back at the Shire, day drinking her PTSDs away. You follow me? Yes, everyone said in unison, their attention span slightly better than your average sixth grader. What we need to do is, think four-dimensionally, Chickpea said, drawing a tesseract. Then we simply have Team Sister Lover. Fred winced. We simply have Team Sister Lover be at the location that we know Axewound will be in the future. Chickpea drew a line with the Team Sister Lover jumping to the future point in time. Who's talking?
Uh-oh.
Yes, that's all well and good, Chick, but the problem is we can't reliably communicate with the Sister Lovers. Fred said, laying down in a fetal position. We need the quantum communicator to reliably be able to do that. And if we could realign our relative times and speak to the Sister Lovers. Fred began to suck his thumb. And speak to the Sister Lovers at any point in which they are further along in their relative timeline, so they can find Axewound and do something. Peppercorn rubbed his head. This is all so complicated. I miss when these stories were just about dogmen fucking each other out in the open.
Just like that one guy from Reddit.
Yeah. He's back on board now.
Oh,
He's
okay.
Dogmen fucking. So we're back at the beginning again, Sid said disappointingly. Team Flamingo still needs to be the ones who get the quantum communicator. We still need to find Axewound, and we need to rescue Gunk from the spell that Kuntress has on him. Sid looked out at the vast desert that lay ahead. He sighed a deep, dejected sigh. The sand was already getting into his ears. Traveling across such an expanse alone would be dangerous at best. Good thing he had Team Flamingos, even though their party size would slow them down, and that was a whole problem, and that even though their party size would slow them down, and that there was the whole problem to begin with. 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. It's like fate had placed them at a wedding, and they were dancing the electric slide. It was pointless and stupid, and nobody wanted to be there.
Yeah.
Damn. I like the electric slide.
No, it's the cha-cha slide. That's the good one.
It's neither.
Oh, Gunky, my hunky, Axewound yelled down a quiet stone hallway. As she exited her room, she transformed herself into buxom and sturdy Ruby Rubbleborn, her secret identity for over a month now, as she tried to coax the secrets of the quantum thingamajig out of Gunk.
There's a thin line between a dwarf name and a Flintstones name.
Yeah.
It's true. In here, Rubbles, Gunk shouted back. Ruby looked down the hall at 73 different goddamn doorways. Which here exactly, my dapper dwarf? Ruby said with an annoyed smile. Down the hall, Gunk shouted. Ruby let out a long sigh. Right side, left side, my whittled dumpling sauce, she trailed off, trying to think of another sweet thing to say. Well, which way are you coming from? Are you coming from the kitchen? Gunk shouted. Just fucking come out of the hall and show me what fucking room you're in. My, sweet baby mama's sweet baby boy, she said, adjusting her tone and her bodice. Axewound had found an ancient secret dwarven fortress built into a butte in the desert. I just wanted to write butte because it looks like butt.
Nice.
It was completely hidden and had a fucking sick-ass hidden door and everything. You should have seen them trying to get into this place, man. They had to fight a fucking 1,000 haunted dwarven skelemen, and they had to fight this ancient evil that only Axewound knew how to defeat because she's so evil as fuck. She was all like, boom! boom, blah, blah, blah. It was totally sick, and you missed it. No wonder your mother comes to me for emotional and sexual comfort. What with you being a huge disappointment and a failure at every damn thing you get within restraining order distance from, you make me sick.
This is getting a little personal, I think.
Gunk rolled backwards on his wheel office throne out of the door and gave Ruby a thumbs up. Ruby squinted to see that he was at the very end of the hallway. She rolled her eyes and sighed. Her face reformed back into axe wounds for a split second. She focused and managed to change her face back. Good thing Gunk had already wheeled his way back in the room. As Ruby entered, she saw Gunk sitting at a great brass table with all sorts of tools and gizmos. Some Gunk had invented on his own, and some he had found while scavenging the fortress. After what probably was the coolest battle anyone had ever seen in Theranos. Too bad you missed it. Gunk spun around in his chair. On his head was what looked like a colander with wires and all sea balls attached to it. He looked like Doc Brown, but short. So, what you doing there? Axwoon said, trying to sound supportive. I'm trying to interface with the quantum operating system. Think of it like a menu at a tavern that lets you operate the... Yes, I know what an operating system is, Ruby shot back. She cleared her throat again. My sweet love, I know you're trying your best, but if we don't figure out how this device works soon, I'm afraid... Ruby stopped herself and feigned tears. She covered her mouth and let out a pathetic whimper. I'm afraid... the sickness that has overrun my hot dwarf body will take over, and I'll... She really let the crocodile tears flow. Ruby, my love. Gunk stopped and held her. We'll figure out what's draining your mana, and we'll cure you of your ailment. I promise, my thick hunk of dwarven bitch meat.
Whoa.
A little cultural reference. Calling a dwarven woman a thick hunk of dwarven bitch meat is one of the most endearing and romantic things you can say to a brick shithouse of a sturdy, thick tree trunk leg, crush a marble between those clapping cheeks, ass-having, short queen, make you scream 3 in your jeans dwarf. Ruby faked a slight, petite little cough. I just need to lay down, my love, she said, going over to the cot in the corner. Axwoon wasn't lying about needing the quantum communicator's secrets. It had taken everything she had to remain disguised as Ruby Rubbleborn and keep them hidden. Not to mention her jumping around in time, all this magic usage was taxing. Not fatal for her, but she couldn't figure out how to use if she couldn't figure out how to use the device, her magical abilities would be put to the test. She would for sure lose the ability to keep this ridiculous disguise. Ruby Rubbleborn, she thought to herself. What a stupid name. What a stupid dwarf Gunk was for buying into it. Idiot, she thought as she lay back. She closed her eyes to the sound of zitting and zatting that was as Gunk worked even more tirelessly to find the secrets of the device. Axwoon awoke several hours later. The candles in the room were all dimmed. Gunk was no longer sitting at his seat working. She rubbed her eyes and groaned. But as she felt her face, her real face, panic set in. This was her face, Axwoon's face. Her thin, totally not ever been magically altered perfect nose, her high cheekbones, her perfectly symmetrical face that once made the devil himself cream his jean shorts with nothing but a sly wink. Fuck, she said softly. Ruby, I made you some soup. It has chicken feet and barely has any nails in it this time, Gunk said as he approached the door.
Oh, it's so sweet.
Axwoon shot up and magically locked the door with a spell. Oh, thank you, sweetums, she said, but in her Axwoon voice. Do you feel all right, Ruby? You sound a bit taller, Gunk asked. No, I'm fine and still very short, she said, adjusting her tone, kind of not remembering the voice she gave Ruby. I mean, who does that? Who makes the character and forgets what they sound like halfway through the story? Very unprofessional.
Jesus Christ.
Maybe, Gunk said, lowering his head, maybe we should consider Plan B. I told you I don't need Plan B. I have a spell that takes care of all that, Axwood said. No, not that. Gunk put his forehead against the door. the last resort plan that we had talked about. Axwoon for a split second reached out to touch the door, but then stopped herself. We talked about what that could mean, Gunk, she said very seriously. I know, but I don't want to live if you aren't here, Ruby, Gunk said as a single tear rolled down his cheeks onto the door. As it did, the magical spell that Axwoon had used to lock the door faded away. Axwoon reached for the doorknob and pulled the door open. There, standing before him, was his love, Ruby Rubbleborn. Oh, Gunky, let's do it, Ruby said. Deep in the bowels of the Dwarven fortress, Axwoon had set up her own workshop. Maybe a better name for it would be her twerk shop.
Oh, nice. I mean, I'm normal about it.
Oh, you're good. Just get ready. Get your cum diapers on, boys. All along the walls were whips, chains, handcuffs, paddles, slut spankers, riding crops, dick wankers, clit clampers, and tit tampers. There was a stockade. There was what looked like a jungle gym, but it was all just sexual torture devices. There was a device called the rack, which would hold you in place just by your tits. You could be bent forward at 45-degree angles so that your feet could be tickled with any number of different types of feathers. Gunk walked in blindfolded as Ruby led him by the hand. Why am I blindfolded, Ruby? Gunk said totally validly. The ritual requires you to be, Ruby said, completely making that up out of her finely toned ass. Ruby then pulled out a pair of fuzzy shackles and shackled Gunk's hands together. Part of the ritual, she said before he could even ask. Ruby then led Gunk to the stockade and placed him inside. She gave him a little apple box to stand on so he'd be more comfortable. For now.
Oh, wow.
As the stocks closed around Gunk, Ruby transformed back into Axwoon. She let out a sigh of relief. She even had on a crop top off the shoulder, free t-shirt you get when you survive Club Vandersex, Amsterdam's number 3 best rated sodomy bar and anal experience.
Number 3.
That's a little Euro trip for you. So this will get your mana back for good, or for like how long? Gunk said, beginning to get nervous and excited. Sure, let's go with that, Axwoon said, no longer even trying to change her voice. She spun a paddle in one hand and clapped it against the other. The loud smack made Gunk jump a little. This again made him a little more nervous and a little more excited. Once I complete the ritual, I'll gain all of your knowledge. I will know what you know. I will possess your skill and your soul, she said, whispering into Gunk's ear. The words were like hot fudge on his ice cream brain. His eyes rolled back into his head, and he was completely enthralled. Axwoon wound up for a single swing like she was Bryce Harper. Go Phils. She released the paddle and smacked right against Gunk on his cheeks. Ouch, he said, giggling. Axwoon's eyes narrowed. She wound up again, this time swinging out her left leg like she was trying to hit one over towards Gino's steaks. Go Phils. She shifted her weight and slap! The crack of the paddle caused the shockwave that broke nearly everything made of glass in the room, save for the glass butt plugs. Those things are sturdy. Or so I hear. I was told this by a guy who isn't me.
At
named
a dinner.
Bosch Benderson. Yes. Magical golden mana started to flow from Gunk. Axwoon drew her head back in ecstasy, her dark raven hair whipping around her perfectly symmetrical face that made the devil come his jorts, or whatever I said earlier. She absorbed the golden knowledge and smiled a wicked smile. Gunk was in heaven. He hadn't been spanked like this since Dwarf Scouts.
Oh.
It's an adult thing.
Okay.
Axwood moved him to the rack. She chained Gunk up with an indestructible adamantine chains that were attached to his two golden nipple rings. Yeah, Gunk was fun in college. She hoisted him up with all his weight up by his burly and leathery man nips.
Oh, wow.
As he was lifted up, more golden mana flowed from his pantaloons. I'm getting so horny right now for you guys. Axwoon was now cackling, yelling laughter like when that one girl at a party gets so drunk she's just yelling stuff, but she's also having a great time. Axwoon plucked a phoenix feather off the rack and began to tickle Gunk's feet. His hairy toesies twitched as he giggled. The mana was flowing hot and strong now. Axwoon reached out to the ethereal goo and began to rub it all over her face. She licked her fingers of it like she had just eaten Buffalo Wild Wings. Gunk squealed like a pig. Axwoon didn't even have the time to do that. Gunk was really fun in college. Axwoon then took him to the jungle gym and bent this boy like a pretzel. She used the tit tampers on him to flatten out his tough, leathery, jerky man titties. She cracked the riding crop across his bare butt and across his bare feet. She slapped him across the mouth and then spit into it, returning some of the mana to him, only for it to pour out back into Axwoon to lap it up like the good bitch she was.
We may have gone too far in some places this episode.
How you feeling now, cool kids?
I want you to know at this point, I'm pondering how far I should take this. I'm very aware of what's going on right now, and I'm sorry if you have a boner. Just know that this could be much, much worse. And then in parentheses, I wrote hotter.
The cool kids are learning some stuff in this episode.
Axwoon was now full-blown horny Super Saiyan 4. She screamed and laughed. Golden mana was flowing all over the place. She looked down and saw Gunk had passed out from pleasure and or pain. What's the difference, am I right?
We're learning about Josh this episode, I think.
Suddenly, a large explosion rocked the entire fortress. Shit! They found me! Axwoon shouted. The ritual was now disrupted, but she had enough mana and knowledge from Gunk to make the device work. She quickly dropped her riding crop and made her way to the door to the workshop room to grab the quantum communicator. But as she did, Gunk grabbed her hand. I love you, my Queen Axwound, he said as he passed out again. Axwound stopped. She felt his life slipping away. She held his hand in hers, his little rough hand. She saw the creases and imperfections in it, unlike her hands that had never once done a hard day's work, unless you count this as hard work. She felt something looking at Gunk's face. Oh, for fuck's sake, she said, sighing. Come on, Gunky, we need to get you out of here. But the quantum thing, you need it. He passed out again. We don't need it, she said, as she opened a golden portal and carried Gunk through. As the flamingos entered the dungeon, the sheer magical energy almost knocked Chickpea backwards. Whoa, oh boy, she said. Blackest, lightest, crime scenest, shyness, she said, as her staff lit up with a blazing LED blacklight. All around them were remnants of mana, on the windows, on the walls, even dripping down 2 round balls, which was just a sculpture of the 2 moons of Daranos. My God, Fred said, gagging. This place looks like your mom's house after I'm done having my way with her, after she finally divorced your dad and sent you away to dwarf scout camp for the summer.
We know what
Which is an adult thing.
It's an adult thing. This place looks like Club Shampoo after MILF night, and their cleaning crew is on strike. And also the garden hose they use to rinse off the entire building is like all kinked up and won't let the water come out. So they just said like, fuck it. We'll let the morning crew deal with it. She said.
So specific.
This place looks like someone jizzed a lot. And then said, hey, why don't we just let it sit here for these guys to find? And then they were like, oh man, let's totally do that. And they did, and then we like found it, and it's like totally gross, right, guys? Peppercorn tried. What in the deliverance ass fuck happened here? Chick. Oh no, this is Sid. What in the deliverance ass fuck happened here, Chick? Sid said, trying not to touch anything. Axe wound. She's a sexcromancer. She must have done a ritual to get some of her power back. I'm not fully versed in that art, so I can only speculate. We should take some to study, Peppercorn said, with a bit too wide of a smile. Fred gagged. Nope, he said as he dry heaved out of the room. Chickpea reached into her pack and grabbed an empty potion vial. She held her staff up to find the highest concentration of mana. Ugh, smells like tomatoes, she said as she slithered some of the mana into the vial. Just then, the mana began to fade. Chick looked up at her staff and shook it, thinking it was the blacklight was extinguishing, but it shined on brightly. The mana began to coalesce into a dark, thick cream in the middle of the room. It's draining itself, Sid yelled. In the middle of the room, he saw a drain that was probably totally normal and not used for fucked up shit at all. Nope, Fred yelled from the outside of the room and dry heaved some more. Then, with a flushing on the toilet sound, the mana was gone. Did you get some? Sid yelled over to Chick. Yeah. She shook the vial and the mana glowed golden inside still. Meanwhile, deep below the surface, Scrabble's Dant and the Red Ant Queen were making their way alongside a fiery ridge. Molten magma flowed beneath them, where that other ant guy had fallen and gave Scrabbles his cold steel axe. Suddenly, a giant dick-shaped stalactite began to undulate. After about 30 seconds, which is a record I might add, it exploded with creamy mana, and the mana fell into the lake of lava below. Ugh, smells like roasted tomatoes, Dan said. What the fuck was that? The Red Queen asked. Finn.
Fucking genius. That wasn't as bad as I was expecting.
No.
It wasn't?
No.
Right.
Crunk,
I know, I can
man.
go further.
I probably shouldn't have said anything.
Crunk, man.
Yeah.
Gunk,
What's
you mean?
up?
Grunk. Yeah, what did I say?
You said Crunk.
Oh, he can crunk.
That's his brother.
Grunk, man.
He has a brother named Crunk? That's sick.
Yeah, why not? I'll remember that, definitely.
Put that on the wiki.
He knew.
Yeah. He
That's
knew.
fucked up, man.
Is it? I don't know.
Perhaps
Love
he can
makes you do some crazy shit, as witnessed in
Probably.
this story.
Love will fuck you up.
He wants to change her. And he might.
He might? I don't know.
Maybe she's changing him.
She's pretty fucked up, dude.
He can fix her.
Yup.
Everyone who's
That's
ever
been.
said that in a relationship has been right, so...
Never come back to haunt them at all.
No. I've got faith in him. He can fix her.
I learned a lot more about Gunk than I ever wanted to learn in this
Which-
episode.
Which gunk are you
about his-
talking about? Hey-o.
Wow.
You learned about his leathery nipple?
Yeah, I didn't need that
I
description
learned about
3
his
times.
leathery beef jerky nipples, as a matter of fact.
I mean, what if they, smelled like beef jerky, too?
I don't like this.
What if they tasted like beef jerky?
You're ruining my perfect boner.
Well, I hope everyone can clean up after that story, and if you're driving to work, I'm sorry, you're going to have jizz in your pants all
Yeah,
day.
they couldn't turn left or right because their boner was in the steering wheel.
It's like the club.
Well, looks like I'm still going straight. I'll get there eventually.
Oh, Jesus. All roads, am I right?
Oh, that was good. What a way
you.
to kick off the episode.
Yeah, it's a lot of sex, a lot of violence.
It's all downhill from here.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well, we'll get the post cum clarity in the
Yeah.
break.
You know what? After I read my story every time, I get that shame, that post-cum shame.
No.
I don't know what that is. Is that normal? Do you guys get that?
Yeah.
I don't have any shame.
I look at my hands like, what have I done? Like fucking end of Evangelion. I'm like, what have I done?
Like Anakin, what have I done?
I look at the jizz in my hand like Shinji, and I'm like, what have I done?
Jesus Christ.
All right, on that note, we need to go to a break because I've got to go and bust one out.
Oh, whoa.
All right, we'll be back in a half an hour or 33 seconds, whatever comes first.
We're back for part 2. Two of us have now got our t-shirts off. Which two? We're not saying, but one of them's Josh.
Half a mystery.
Keep
Give
them
a
coming back for
50-50
more.
shot.
Jeff, it's time to open the door to Spooky Vision.
It's so spooky. The title of my story is called Corporate Sexual Synergy and Branding.
Wow.
Damn. This is the title of the email you sent us the other day.
The seemingly endless room full of suited-up, grayed-out honkies felt swelteringly hot and yet strangely cold at the same time.
Hey, we're doing the episode right now. We already went over this.
TK was having trouble figuring out whether to keep her jacket buttoned or not as she sat uncomfortably in her chair at the center of the long table. For some reason, her chair seemed a lot smaller than everyone else's. She couldn't really figure out why she felt that way, but she definitely did. Alyssa looked around the room with dangerous, calculating eyes. Something about this didn't seem right to her. Down to her very core, it seemed wrong, in fact. But no matter how hard she strained against the fog at the periphery of her thoughts, she couldn't place a finger on what was making her feel this way. Confused, out of place, trapped.
Uh-oh.
The well-dressed woman at the head of the endless mahogany meeting room desk drummed her fingers against the lacquered wood while she took appraisal of the two of them. TK felt an overwhelming desire to look away from her piercing gaze, but Alyssa met it head-on. There was something painfully familiar about this woman to both of them, though neither could lay claim to knowing what that happened to be. But it certainly wasn't that she was their boss. Was it?
That's right, they're all hypnagogued.
Well, I must say, the more I look over these reports on your performances, the more disappointed I become. You two are two of our youngest project managers, after all. You were brought on to our Clay Bakeries to inject some new blood into our organization, so to speak. The woman leaned back in her chair and puffed at her cigarette with a smirk at the edge of her lips, the kind of small tick that betrayed an inside joke she wasn't going to let anyone else in on.
You can't smoke inside.
TK began a little louder and more forcefully than she had anticipated, then immediately leaned back into her chair and clammed up at her own outburst. She frantically looked over at Alyssa, who shrugged back at her dramatically. The two of them air-squabbled back and forth without making a sound for only a moment before Alyssa held a hand up to stop TK and turned back to the boss lady. We're, unsure what it is we could have done that was so unsatisfactory. Could you be a little bit more direct on what it is that we failed to do here at, Alyssa glanced up at the sign on the wall, read it as quickly as she could, then looked back at the boss. Our Clay Bakeries? We're trying our best, TK interjected. I think. She exchanged a long, searching glance with Alyssa, neither of them finding an answer to that dangling sentence.
That's me at every job. I think you're doing okay.
There will be a full report on your wrongdoings on your desk by tomorrow morning, the boss said, leaning forward in her chair and steepling her fingers together in front of her face menacingly. Smoke poured out of her lips like a perfectly timed movie special effect to make her seem even more demonic as she grinned afterwards. Wait, wrongdoings? Alyssa piped up, standing up and placing her hand on the desk in front of her. What wrongdoings? Yeah, I thought we just sucked at our jobs, TK interjected and stood up as well. Alyssa held a hand up and waved at her to sit back down silently, shaking her head at her. TK sat down quietly and placed her hands together in her lap. Tisk, tisk, tisk. The two of you are just going to have to be punished for your actions before you ever fess up to them, I suppose. The boss lady stood up and dusted her suit jacket off, straightening it with her palms. She took the cigarette out of her mouth and tossed it haphazardly onto the table in front of her.
Start a fire.
The assembled group of old white men immediately began to scramble over each other and over TK and Alyssa to reach the cigarette in the middle of the table. Like a bunch of farm animals on a feeding frenzy, they clawed and pawed over each other to make it to the cigarette. TK and Alyssa withdrew back from the table as fast as they could, Alyssa leaping away in disgust and TK rolling her smaller-than-usual chair backward as hard as she could manage. A heavy-set old
Skunk's chair.
A heavy-set old white man with a poorly disguised chalk-white comb-over and mustache held the cigarette butt aloft in the air triumphantly, and every other old honky in the room slowly slid back away from him, grumbling and complaining under their breath as they took their seats again.
Let them eat butts.
Shall we? The boss lady was suddenly standing at a door across from the room from the two of them, but neither of them had ever noticed it before. It made sense that there was a door in here, of course. How else could they have gotten into the meeting? But why didn't either of them ever notice it before now that it existed? Both felt a little too self-conscious to verbalize it. No matter whatever the fuck had just happened with the decrepit old board officers around them having shaking them up a little. What the fuck? What just... TK muttered to anyone who would listen as she stood up shakily from her chair, staring wide-eyed at the old man sitting on his hands and knees in the middle of the boardroom table, holding a still smoldering cigarette butt aloft in the air above him reverently. I don't even know what to say about this shit, Alyssa said flatly.
Textbook corporate culture,
It's what my meetings are like.
Yeah.
Alyssa said flatly, turning away from the meeting room entirely and hurrying out the door that the boss had been ushering them to exit. She didn't even look back as she went out of the hallway, having lost all desire to struggle against her mental fog or understand what the fuck was going on at this point. Alyssa! TK chased after her, catching a glimpse behind her as she exited the room of the board member holding the cigarette butt, shoving it into his mouth with one swoop of his hand and swallowing it down, still smoldering inside of him, releasing small bits of smoke through his nose and mouth. She tried to hold back the disgust in her throat as she turned the corner into the hallway.
Maybe he's just cosplaying Billy Ray Valentine from Trading Places.
He ate the cigarette, TK whispered to Alyssa. As the two of them walked side by side down the long, spiraling hallways of this building they both should know very well by now, but neither of them even slightly recognized. God damn, Alyssa shuddered a bit, holding the bridge of her nose with two fingers. What the fuck is even going on here? What are we doing here? Selling baked goods? TK smiled half-heartedly. Alyssa just shook her head, stone-faced. Well, here we are, the boss said finally, standing next to a glass inset door that read Corrections and Punishments on it.
Uh-oh.
She turned the knob and stepped inside, leaving the door partially open for the two of them to follow her in. Please come in. Do companies normally have a punishment department? TK asked, scratching the back of her head absently. Amazon does, I heard. If you piss in too many bottles, they break your legs or something, Alyssa returned flatly.
Yeah, I still use them, though.
Is that what we did? TK asked, her anxiety overwhelming her at this point.
Is that what we did?
I think I'd remember if I pissed in one bottle, let alone enough to get my legs broken.
Yeah.
Come in, I said. Their boss's voice shattered their line of questioning immediately. And TK hurried as fast as she could through the door, gripping tightly onto Alyssa's arm to drag her inside with her. Whatever the two of them had wondered would await them in the corrections and punishments room had not prepared them for what they would find waiting for them. Torture racks, with gigantic turning cogs on either side, hanging leather belts from every point in the ceiling, long pleather swings in each corner, slabs of stone crotch height in a semicircle around the center of the room.
Yeah, I definitely am afraid of this place. This place is bad news, right?
And walls covered in shelves lined from one end to the other with dildos, vibrators, butt plugs, Sybian machines, whips, chains, ball gags, and so much lubes that you would have to stop for a second and wonder, is this company buying bulk lube? Where do you even buy something like that in bulk from to begin with? They don't carry that shit at Sam's Club, do they? But then again, there's an entire industry about fucking and sucking on camera that has to get their lube from somewhere, right? It's not cost effective for a production company to buy those normal little bottles of fuck lube. They would have to get it in bulk from somewhere, right?
I think they scoop it all up and put the unused stuff back in.
Oh, God. They have like a sifter.
I don't...
Big vat.
I think Rich is off the show.
That's not the worst thing that's been said so far.
No.
Anyway.
Here you go, Jeff. I'm sending you something.
No. Standing in the middle of this Reddit incels wet dream come true was the boss that they had followed down the long hallways this entire time. But now she looked quite different. Her long blonde hair was free-flowing down her shoulders, and she wore a black pleather mask on her face and reflective black lipstick. Beyond the pleather boots and bicep-high gloves she was wearing, there wasn't a single stitch of clothing on her body anymore. Besides maybe the belt she had strung across her waist with the world's largest, red-hot, glowing, smoking, flaming dildo, which was illuminating the entire room from its blasting bright glow. Ready for your punishment, girls? The boss said with a wicked, toothy grin behind her black lips, tilting her head forward and raising her eyebrows up and down real fast like Groucho Marx.
Millhouse.
Ah! TK screamed out, turning to run as fast as she fucking could towards the door behind him, but finding it closed and locked up tight somehow when they weren't looking. She looked back at the arm-sized flaming dildo once more. Ah! She began yanking on the door handle harder, placing a foot on the door jamb for leverage as she tried to wrench it open.
If they don't want the punishment, I'll do it.
Hold on a fucking second, Alyssa yelled out, causing the boss to lose her horrid smirk and TK to stop yanking at the door to stare back at her. You can't fuck your workers when they mess up at a real company. None of this shit seems real, actually. What the hell is going on here? What do you mean? The boss asked. Well, the real world doesn't have giant flaming dildos as far as I know. Nobody would want that. Sure, big, but on fire? Alyssa grimaced.
Sure, big.
Well, it is a punishment, the boss said matter-of-factly. That would kill someone, though. Alyssa's right. This is totally some kind of weirdo dream or something, TK yelled out, then paused, placing her hand over her mouth for a second, glancing awkwardly at Alyssa, then uncovering to quickly add, nightmare. I mean nightmare. Good addendum, Alyssa said with a raised eyebrow. Well, either way, you may as well lose the business suit so I can defile you for funsies. I mean for punishment. You've done bad sales at this very real company or whatever. The boss was seeming to lose interest in whatever was going on here with their awakening.
That's jobs for you.
Whoa! TK yelled out in an amalgam voice once more, her eyes widening and becoming bright, inhuman, glowing blue. I finally got through, dude! Sheesh, there's some real interference happening in this noggin, bruh. What's even... Dips inside of TK's consciousness looked around the room then, seeing all the various and sundry fuck materials. And things that needed to go in this orifice or that one, and finally laid eyes on the hyper dominatrix in the middle of the room with the fake burning leg dick and stood transfixed in shock for a moment or two. What the flip is going on here, dude? Dips TK yelled out, flailing his arms in the air around him. I thought you two were gonna get killed in this illusion and junk, dudes, but you're in here getting dommy-mommied instead? Most uncouth, my dudes. How in the fuck did you break into my illusion? Who are you even? The boss screamed out, her entire body beginning to flicker and shift like a candle that was burning out slightly. In its place was the horrifying combination of woman and moth that brought every lost memory crashing back into Alyssa and TK all at once. That's it! We're inside some kind of nightmare illusion, TK yelled out in her own voice, grabbing Alyssa by the shoulder with the revelation. Well, what the fuck do we do then? Alyssa grabbed onto TK's shoulders as well. The two of them in a mini huddle in the middle of this disgusting-ass corporate sex dungeon.
That's jobs for you.
Oh, for fuck's sake. You would have liked the punishment, goddammit. We would have all got a nut, Miller screamed out. Unaware of how fucked up this entire goddamn thing was vis-a-vis consent and general human decency. Yo, I got an idea, dude. Dips burst back into TK all at once, illuminating her eyes and changing her voice again. I'll just hop, skip, and jump into the moth lady and turn her brain drain off of her. And you guys will be back in the waking world, bro. Fat fucking chance, Miller screeched, her wings unfurling into their gigantic true scale and her body raising up into the air above them. I don't know what you are, but I am perfection incarnate. I am the ultimate chrysalid. I am the true face of Gestalt, and none shall ever... And just like that, the illusion was gone. TK, Alyssa, and Dips snapped back to reality instantaneously. The dimly lit alleyway behind two sets of houses that they had been taken from into that terrible, sexy corporate nightmare was back. The three of them blinked.
Sexy corporate nightmare.
The three of them blinked their eyes hard to adjust to the sudden reality of their situation. Before even seeing anything, they heard their savior. Fuck yeah! Screamed Jason at the top of his lungs. His hands gripping tightly onto the haft of his silver-tipped fireman's axe as it buried its bladed end directly into Miller's horrific insectoid face, all the way to the midpoint of the metal. The flesh around where the blade had punctured into her immediately began to bubble and rot away, as it had done every other time it had found purchase in a chrysalid's meat. Eat that shit, fuckface!
Holy shit.
She's still swinging, Jason, you can't just stand there, Dev screamed out, flailing his nerdlinger arms in the air like a virgin version of Kermit the Frog.
Wait, is Kermit the Frog not a virgin?
In parentheses, Kermit absolutely fucks and you know it.
Yeah, absolutely.
To get his new friend's attention. Best friend, maybe? He sure hoped. But the warning came a little too late, as Miller had swiped her gigantic insectoid clawed hand into Jason's midsection. Fuck! He screamed, the blow sending him flying head over heels like a discus into the picket fence on one side of the alley. The wood buckled but didn't splinter, bouncing his limp body off of it and onto the asphalt of the alley heavily. Our heroes? Alyssa said absently, rubbing her eyes at the Looney Tunes bit unfolding in front of her. Are you okay? TK yelled out, running across the alley and skidding to a stop on her knees next to Jason's barely moving body. Fucking cheap shot, Jason mumbled, as he pushed himself up from the ground onto his unsteady full height. He was pretty shocked when he felt two people wrap their arms around his midsection and steady him up to his feet. Huh? Dev was underneath his right arm, struggling to hold the much larger man's weight up, but smiling up at him as best as he could manage. I got you, big guy! TK was under his left arm, managing an uneasy and weak smile herself as she held him aloft much easier than the smaller guy on the other side. You're the two guys that Dip saw being tortured under the old building. You're why we're here in the first place. What? For real? You're why we didn't just escape once we got free. We stayed because Jason wanted to help you. Dev cried out in disbelief that he'd been roped into this at all now. Well, thanks for the attempt, Alyssa groaned out, walking backwards to join the rest of the group near the fence. She was staring straight at Miller, who was flailing around violently and screeching, but didn't seem to be all that hurt for someone with an axe in her face. Miller flung her gigantic clawed hand up at the axe and sent it flying over the fence into the distance from the force of her blow. The massive gaping wound in her face that was once bubbling with the violent aftertouch of the silver was now knitting itself back together as she screeched and threw her weight around violently. "What the fuck?" Jason cried out. "That axe burns these things alive when I hit them. What fucking gives?" "I'm not sticking around to find out. Let's fucking go already," Alyssa screamed, turning and running towards the fence and leaping up to it. She grabbed onto the top of it and turned around, perched on her Doc Martens like a bird of prey, and held her hand down to TK. "You can run, right?" TK let go of Jason and he nodded to her, prompting her to charge up to the fence herself and take a running leap. She made it about half as high as Alyssa had, but Alyssa caught her by the hand all the same. She yanked her up and over the fence and dropped her onto the other side, leaping off the top of it herself and landing in the grass beside TK. TK cried out, looking over at Alyssa. "You left them?" But just as those words left her mouth, a pair of brown work boots hit the grass next to her, followed by the knees of a set of mechanic overalls, the head of a nerdy engineer, the back of a set of mechanic overalls, and then the ass of a nerdy engineer.
He did a flip.
Jason had leapt to the top of the fence as well, boosted Dev up and over it, and had landed just as Alyssa had before. "Oh, I knew he could do that," so Alyssa waved it off. Standing back up and running full speed across the grass of the lawn, away from the screeching sounds of the healing horror behind them. "Hold on, I'm coming too! Not all of us are born athletes!" Dev cried out as the entire group took off running, leaving him a league behind with their combined foot speed. Every so often along the trip... Huh?
What's a league?
It's a group of people that do something together. Every so often...
Perfect.
You know what? You got me.
Every so often along the trip, Jason would slow down and grab onto Dev, pushing him to run harder to keep up with the rest. No one ever questioned the multiple blocks run that the... Shit, I lost my place. No one ever questioned the multiple blocks run that the group was on, all much more conscious of the fact of what they were running away from to give a shit about where they were running to. All but Alyssa, anyway. She turned the corner and saw her goal, her Dodge Charger parked outside of her uncle's house that they'd been staying in all this time.
America, bitch!
If it was a different car when I talked about it last time, no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Check the wiki.
Yep.
This only put the spring in her step even further, causing her to close the block's distance between her and the car in record time. She fumbled the keys out and unlocked it quickly, motioning for the rest of the crew to get into the car as well. Dev dove into the front seat, yelling, "Shotgun!" without a second thought.
Dev dove. Well done for saying that and not cocking that up, because that is a really difficult thing to say.
Yeah.
TK shook her head in shock and disbelief, but got in the back seat behind Alyssa, as Alyssa had slid into the driver's seat and turned the key. The Charger purred to life instantly. Jason stopped outside the back passenger side door and looked back in the direction they'd run from. The wings of the horrific moth monster were so large that he could see them even here, waving in the wind of its own power. The screeching had turned from tormented and pain to filled with endless rage. He keenly felt the absence of his axe as he stared for a moment.
Oh no.
"Here, bro, you dropped this, man!" A voice came from behind him.
What?
Jason turned around and immediately saw his bloody, gleaming axe held out to him, and all the tension and loss in him bled away instantly the second he grasped the handle and held it aloft. "Holy shit, thank you!" he cried out, turning his axe back to the eyes to the man who had handed it to him. But he did have to raise his eyes higher up than usual. You see, the man was floating off the ground in front of him, glowing in incandescent blue and grinning at him from ear to ear behind a pair... God damn it.
You got it, buddy. You got it.
My scroll isn't working, so it keeps putting me at a different spot.
Sometimes you gotta use 2 fingers. You can start out with 1 finger, but then go for 2.
If you gotta use 3, then your penis ain't gonna be big enough. But he did have to... But he did have to raise his eyes up higher than usual. You see, this man was floating off the ground in front of him, glowing in incandescent blue and grinning at him from ear to ear behind a pair of equally spectral sunglasses.
Nice.
Jason, for the first time in his life, was face to face with an actual ghost. What? How? What were all he managed to stammer out before a hand reached up out of the car and yanked him into the back passenger seat in one violent pull. TK held onto his jacket for a moment as she pulled him into the car, glowering at him as best she could. "We gotta go, dude!" She noted that she hadn't spent a lot of time in her life saying dude before Dips had taken her over twice now. She would bring that up to him later. With all parties inside the car, including Dips, who decided it was best to remain invisible for the time being, Alyssa bent the gas pedal to the floor and peeled the fuck out all super cool and fucking sick-like.
Fucking America!
Taking off down the street at 77 miles per hour in a 25 like the badass she is.
That's how you lose your license.
No one spoke a word until the car had passed the Whitesville city limits sign, riding in complete silence until that very moment. "So, ghosts are real too, huh?" Jason asked weakly. Never even once in his life even debating with himself about the existence of ghosts or not. That was like dorky-ass bitch thoughts. Like Dev thoughts.
True.
God damn.
"Wait, what?" Dev said excitedly, turning around in his seat and peering over the back of his headrest at Jason. "You saw a ghost? So neato, you gotta tell me about it." "Yo, little bro, I can tell you about me just fine," Dips interrupted, appearing in the back seat between Jason and TK. "Fuck!" Jason lurched away from him all at once, then let out a heaving breath and settled back down into his seat. "Don't fucking do that!" "Or what, bro? You'll kill me?" Dips said,
Oh, in your face.
with a gnarly surfer dude laugh to boot. Jason cracked a smile and shook his head.
Cracked a
I know there's
smile?
I know there's
He
a
likes him.
I know there's a real life ghost there and everything, but that might be the first genuine smile I've ever seen Jason make.
Dev said with a wide grin of his own. "You've known me for 2 days, man," Jason grimaced in return. "I haven't had a lot to smile about recently."
Yeah.
"So what's your fucking
fair.
deals anyway?" Alyssa finally piped up, annoyance in her voice suddenly obvious for having to take 2 complete strangers and almost dying for it. "Well," Jason began. They had been on a road for about an hour by the time each of them had finished telling their part of the story to one another. "You, on the other hand, already know the whole goddamn story, because you've been listening to me run my mouth for an entire season about it. So I'll skip rehashing all this old shit. If you don't know what they said, then fucking go listen to all the other episodes, you goddamn nut."
Why
Yep.
would you start with this one?
For some reason or another, none of them felt the need to hold anything back from one another. There was complete honesty in that car ride, and it didn't feel like too much either. They felt unburdened, each and every one, to tell their stories. "Whoa, bro, that's mondo bogus," Dip said, placing a spectral hand on Jason's shoulder. "But maybe violent rage isn't the only path forward, you know? Maybe there's like a zen chill way for you." Jason stared at Dips with an incredulous look on his face for a moment before shaking his head. "If I don't kill these things for what they did to Archie, they'll just keep doing it to other people. Other little brothers. Other families. There's no other way forward for me, ghost boy. It's all this now." Dips. Dips corrected him. "You, like that better than Ghost Boy, huh? Alright," Jason replied. "We've just been driving aimlessly for over an hour now," Alyssa interrupted, still behind the wheel of the Charger. "What do we even do now? We have no idea where to go anymore." "You heard the Moth Lady, though. She was going to Arclay. We just gotta figure out what Arclay is," TK interjected herself.
Well,
Dev started and then rubbed at his chin softly.
I actually know exactly what RK is already.
"How in the fuck do you know that?" Jason groaned out, already sick of the last-minute surprises Dev kept pulling out of his ass.
I told you that I hacked into their computer systems and memory banks before. I learned a ton about Gestalt, and especially of all their hidden bases. I thought it was super neato cool that anybody in the real world would have a hidden base.
Dev pushed his oversized Coke bottle glasses up his face.
I know that one of those bases was called the Arclay Mansion. I'm not entirely sure of the exact location, but if I can get to my house and access my hard drive, then I can give us the pinpoint place.
"Fuck yes!" Jason cried out, pumping his fist in the air. "You're a genius, Dev!"
Ah, shucks, Dev replied bashfully.
Hold the fucking phone, Alyssa interrupted. Your plan is to just drive up to this horror show's secret base? Should we all batter and spice ourselves first, or do you think they're going to do that for us? I got to agree with Alyssa, TK said more meekly. I know you want to stop these guys for what they did, but we don't have any way to do that right now. What about your powers, dude? Dips asked TK, leaning his ghostly elbow on her shoulder, all cool and after-school specially. You could blow their whole mansion off the map like lickety-split, bro. I have no idea how to use them. TK paused for a moment, rubbing the side of her head where she felt a pretty deep migraine forming already. They're terrifying. I'm not me when they happen. I have no control.
Is there some way we could help you gain control? Some kind of expert we could talk to? Dev said, being totally new to this entire psychic power thing and defaulting to what he knew how to do, learn and grow.
Who do you figure we should call, Dev? Houdini? Miss Cleo? Mob Psycho 100? TK asked flatly.
I don't know.
Miss Cleo reference.
I don't know.
Dev responded crestfallen. I'm sorry, I just don't know what the hell to do, and it's making me pretty pissy, TK said as softly and kindly as she could. You've been through a ton this past week, TK. No one blames you, Alyssa reassured her. Bring. What? Jason immediately began digging around in his jacket pockets, side ones and then inside one, before he pulled his hand back with a busted up cell phone in it. My fucking phone still works? The display was cracked to the point he couldn't see who was calling, but decided to answer anyway for the convenience of the story. No one in the real world would ever do this at this point, so chalk this one up to a plot hole. I don't fucking care. He flicked the answer slider and held it up to his ear. Hello? There was a pause for a second as Jason's face twisted in disgust and recognition. Flinch! Where the fuck have you been?
Jesus.
Jason yelled into the phone, the other four in the car exchanging confused glances. All right? Yeah, I mean, look, I don't care what percentage you got in Donkey Kong Country. Where are you?
Oh, I care.
There was another long pause as Jason rolled his eyes and kept trying to interject but couldn't. Fine, yeah, I don't want to say hello to your friend, Flinch. She's saying she's not your friend, and I can hear her right now, dude. All right. You're where again? He paused and rubbed his hand over his face from top to bottom in one aggravated sweep. All right, we'll meet you then. We don't know where we're going at this moment, but you have my number and I have yours. I'll turn Find My Phone on. He paused again. Fucking, you don't know what Find My Phone is? No, it's not a fucking... Look! Here! He shoved the phone into Dev's hand and made an overdramatic motion with his own hands for the nerdier guy to take over.
Oh, just because I got multiple degrees, I'm IT now, huh?
Dev grimaced. But Jason gritted his teeth at him and made him immediately put the phone to his ear.
Hi, I'm Dev. I'm a friend of Jason's.
There was a long pause.
Okay. 101% without the player's guide, huh? That's impressive.
He paused for a moment again.
Okay, you know Find My Phone, right? No, it's not. It's on your phone, Mr. Flinch. No, it's not. You don't have to. No, it comes with the phone, Mr. Flinch. You have to go to at the bottom of the screen, there's a little bubble that says search. Yeah. Like on that.
This is horror.
This is you explaining to your parents.
Yeah.
And then you type in, what do you... Dev paused for a moment, then became red-faced all at once.
I didn't say to search deep fake porn of anyone. No, I didn't. I did not.
He paused for a moment and collected himself.
Please just type in Find My Phone. Okay, can you... No, don't... You don't need to...
There was a moment of panic on Dev's face, and then he spoke once more.
Hello. My name is Dev. I'm a friend of Jason's.
Another short pause.
Okay, you're not a friend of Flinch's. Got it.
Oh my god.
Unfortunate circumstances keep throwing you together. Sure, I get that.
There was a much longer pause this time as Dev just simply nodded to what he was hearing, and then finally,
Okay then, just find my phone signal and we'll meet you somewhere before morning. Excellent. Thank you so much. I look forward to meeting you.
and then there was a short pause.
Hello? Huh. Must be a bad signal.
Dev handed the phone back to Jason, who put it in his jacket pocket once more. Well, we just need somewhere to go now, Jason opined. All right, what the fuck was that even? Alyssa interjected. We're meeting someone now? That was Pavlov Flinch, a private dick that stunk of cheese and sulfur. I accidentally hired him to help me find my brother, thinking he was a real detective, Jason said, leaning back into his seat contemplatively. Gestalt is looking for him for some reason, and I'm hoping he can clue me in as to why. We don't know jack fucking shit at this point, and if you want some kind of plan, we'd best start by getting some kind of information. Alyssa drove on silently. I think he's right, Alyssa. I know you're not psyched about teaming up with people we don't really know so well, but they're in this too. Whether any of us like it or not, TK said sternly.
But it's Flinch.
And I do not like it. I'd like to put that on record, Dev said, half jokingly.
Alyssa smiled slightly at the joke, but shook the expression off her face. Fine then. Where are we going? We're going to Dev's house in Buffalo, Jason stated plainly.
Go Bills!
If he really does still have the info on the Arclay mansion, then we need it, and we need it quick. Flinch and whoever the fuck was with him will have to meet us there. Great. Cool. We'll drive 2 states over. Sweet, Alyssa said grumpily. TK reached up into the front seat and placed her hand on Alyssa's shoulder comfortingly. The two smiled at each other for a moment before returning to their worried expressions once they were no longer maintaining eye contact.
I think we're a team now, Dev interjected excitedly.
Oh,
I've never been part of a team in any way before. This is pretty exciting. What do you think we should call ourselves?
The Flamingos.
Dev didn't expect anyone to answer that immediately, since he was used to being the only hyper-excited, hyper-fixated nerd in any given situation outside of the AV club in college. But Jason immediately piped up. The new spooky squad, he said without inflection. There was a moment of silence as everyone in the car exchanged glances. Not to poo-poo on the first idea, but what are we, the Candle Cousins? Are you planning on writing a series of children's mystery books with that name too? TK said with a slight chuckle, trying not to be too mean but still get her point across. That's what my brother Archie and his friends called themselves. The Spooky Squad.
Nice.
They investigated mysteries in the paranormal. Jason smiled distantly, staring out the window at the trees whipping past their car. Seems appropriate. There was a silence again in the car, but this time much more individual and contemplative.
I second the new spooky squad,
Dev said with a smile back at Jason. Jason nodded to him in return. Yeah, I think the new spooky squad is straight up baller, personally, dude. I'm on board hard, Dev said with a slap on Jason's shoulder. Jason tried not to show how weirded out he still was by a ghost being involved in all of this. I'll fourth that name then. It honors the memory of your brother, and that's good enough for me, regardless of the name. I'm sorry I joked about it, TK said with a smile. The new spooky squad it is, Alyssa said quietly, focusing on the road ahead of them. They were all mostly quiet then, knowing how long of a drive they had ahead of them. But for the first time in a long time, they all felt that they were exactly where they were supposed to be. The end.
Nice.
I love how Scooby-Doo that got.
Yeah. Who's with Flinch?
You'll have to stay tuned to find out.
Oh, is it
It's
Myrtle?
It could be Myrtle, because Deb
Kayla.
was like, oh, yeah. Yeah, or Kayla. That's what I'm thinking, too.
It could be
You'll
a
have
new
to stay
character.
tuned to find out.
It
fellow
could be
spooky squatters.
Pavlov Flinch's girlfriend.
Oh,
No,
God.
wait.
Pavlov Flinch has never had a
Wait.
girlfriend.
This
What are you
is
talking
fantasy
about?
fiction, not fantasy.
You mean his
fantasy
right
fiction.
hand?
Yeah. He's just got a right hand with a wig on it. Hello. Hey, it's me.
I'd like it to be known that Josh, while I was telling my story, sent me a link
Yeah, I heard
For,
it, but I didn't check.
for
it from
the
Industrial
ultimate
Lube?
lube keg. A keg of lube.
55-gallon drum of lube.
So now I know
there's one
where
left.
Now I know where you buy lube in bulk from. It's the same place that if you piss in a jar too many times, they break your legs.
Dude, it's only $1,700. Get it.
I mean, that's a bargain at half the amount of lube.
That
Surely.
will last you at least a month,
Yeah.
if you think about it.
Maybe it'd last you a month.
Yeah, if you conserve it, it'll last you a month.
I'd be out in a couple days, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, from all the fucking.
That was great, dude.
Yeah, it was really
It was
good.
great. I loved it.
Thank you. Welcome the stars of this season, the new Spooky Squad.
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah!
I like that they're all
Legally
together now.
distinct from Spooky Squad.
My,
Yeah.
my lawyers will be in contact as soon as I buy this 55-gallon drum of lube.
It's like calling it the real Ghostbusters.
Yeah, yeah.
I call them the new Spooky Squad.
Well,
so it's
our
called.
Spooky Squad did have a big gorilla.
That's true. There's no big
Which it
gorilla
did.
in this one.
True.
It actually did.
True.
I remember. There's no big gorilla in this story. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but that's why ours is not the real. That's because
Oh,
in the
yeah.
Ghostbusters, they had the gorilla, right?
Holy shit. That is a
weird.
deep joke. Good job.
It's multifaceted. That's why people tune in, you
Yeah,
know?
well done, Josh. Saved for another week of firing.
My God, it's like I'm like white knuckling it over here, man.
Every week, I'm like, how are we going to get rid of him this week? And then you pull it out of the bag, and I'm like, oh, got to keep him.
I
another
pull
week.
it out of the 55-gallon drum.
Drop it a few times.
It seems like it would be better to store the dildo in the lube keg. So it's always ready.
Yeah. Wow, this guy lubes. This guy.
I mean, that's really clever. I suppose it's you'd have to rely on people cleaning their sex toys, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't, right?
Dishwasher.
I mean, if it's going straight back into the vagina later, what's the difference? Clean your sex toys, folks.
Yeah. That's the Story Lord's lesson of today.
Get one of those. Get one of those jars of blue liquid that barbers put combs in.
Yeah.
Barbasol. Barbasol.
Keep your dildos in a jar of Barbasol.
Yeah, take it out though before it's gonna sting a little
Yeah,
bit.
a little bit. Oh man. Right.
Pain is pleasure, I heard in this episode.
Yeah.
That's what we learned.
2 good stories. Dare we do a third? Come back and find
dare.
out.
Well, if we don't do it, we won't come back.
Part 3. The part where you three your pants? No,
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
Too late.
probably.
I
probably
won.
not.
I two'd. Dare I three?
I don't think this one is as seductive as the other two. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
Was my story seductive?
That's
Yeah.
how I would describe both.
Yeah, both of them were seductive. Right. My story this
Rich
week
know what that is?
for Dixon Dominatrixes is called Beastmaster 3 Rift Aiken Identity, a Frankenstein PI mystery.
What? Nuh-uh.
From the case files of Adam Frankenstein, private investigator, New York, winter 1934.
Rich, that is an incredible Frankenstein.
How are you doing
Nice.
this, Rich?
My
Wait a minute,
God.
let me cough to get it back.
Entry.
Wow.
The pen trails off of the paper is what passes for brains in my patchwork quilt car wreck of a head takes a wrong turn at Albuquerque. The last few blood-soaked days had been messier than David Carradine's marionette show-themed bachelor party. What? Wow. What? And to tell you the truth, I don't even know where to begin with this case file. Well, maybe I do. Maybe it was that embossed leather business card that came sliding under the door. The one that looked like it was deliberately wiped clean. Only...
A fluffy pink dressing-gowned Adam got up from his chair where he'd been reading a newspaper detailing a wave of robberies and a spate of suspicious grisly murders of gangland thugs who'd been worked over more than the completionist's tax returns. The article wasn't of much interest to him. Some mob guys getting their just desserts wasn't exactly something to get a kazoo out for, let alone violins. He let the broadsheet drop to the desk, causing the small folded magazine of Women's Bare Ankles Weekly he had been actually reading to fall out of the newspaper into the floor. Look, look, the guy had an understandable affinity for random body parts, okay? Adam sometimes wondered if it was weird that his arousal sent blood to some random dude's dick. But considering technically it was another man's blood and another man's hand he used to do the deed, the ethical ramifications didn't bother him enough to go cold choked turkey.
Oh my God.
Bending down and cursing the twinge that shot through his knee. He wasn't old. It was the man's leg he used that was old. He grabbed at the black card and turned it over in his greying fingers. The gold lettering was striking against the black leather and read, The Musty Holster Club. VIP black tie event, 1 a.m, along with the address and today's date. Adam's ears pricked at the thwomp of heavy footsteps on the wooden panelled hallway outside his office, and he opened the door to see a massive hulk of a postman shuffling towards the elevator. Annoyed at the invite to an obvious trap, or worse, another bullshit case that would lead to no money and some sort of monster massacre, he snarkily called after the postman for clarification.
Hey, gorilla my dreams. You the courier who brought me this? I didn't know Western Union started taking applications from the zoo.
Damn!
The mass stopped, turning slowly. The green and scaly snout of a giant crocodile turned back to look at him, and Adam recoiled, uttering an expletive that I won't repeat for fear of harming his Saturday morning cartoon potential. And reaching for the thing he always did when he was confronted by something he wasn't expecting, the hand cannon he had tucked into the waistband of his briefs.
Jesus!
The crocodile man simply stared, drool dripping from his teeth, as if he lacked the brains to lick his own lips. He'd either been sucking the business end of an opiate pipe harder than your mum sucks pipe for gas money, or maybe just because she's lonely.
Wow.
Or there was some sort of mystical whammo-jammo happening here. Either way, a hideous
Take
predicament.
that, Linda.
With a cautious step, he approached the gargantuan reptile and waved a hand in front of his face, feeling the usual affinity he did for giant monsters.
Hey, Mac, you okay in there?
He said, in the silence of the hallway. You couldn't exactly hear a pin drop, but you could all of a sudden hear a single note quavering on the air. Adam's head was filled with a foggy voice he could almost make out, something he'd heard before, but he shook his head and refocused to find the crocodile's eyes angrily glaring at him. The crocodile spun and Adam saw the thick green tail a millisecond before it slammed into his stomach and threw him backwards to the wall behind him. He cracked the painted finish and slumped to the floor, sending plaster raining down on his head. Adam retied the chenille faux fur gown, picked up his pistol, and aimed it down the hall.
What? Wait.
He's got a
He's
pink
got a
dressing
pink
gown.
dressing gown on.
But
Alright.
his assailant was long gone.
Damn speedy for a walking handbag.
He muttered, as he picked up the business card which had fallen by his feet.
Well, time to rent me a monkey suit. And not the Gorilla Graham costume I had to buy when I fought that gang of super smart ape men.
He said,
I think we all remember that episode.
he said to the empty hallway as clarification and to prompt Jeff to write more Adam Frankenstein mysteries.
Why? You're doing it for me. What do I need to do?
Yeah, you're doing such. I mean, I can't believe you're doing the voice and laughing
Yeah, I
at the
know,
same
I
time.
know,
You're like
it's-
a
yeah,
ventriloquist.
It's wild how he's doing
Yeah, I
that.
can throw my voice.
Crazy.
Oryx looked up from the alley at the glorious testament to men who had small penises everywhere, the newly built Empire State Building.
Wow. Take that, New York City.
He sighed contentedly. What a marvel of Art Deco design and architecture. Humie pushed his long trench coat collar up and pulled his hat brim down to cover his robotic features. The kid's statement amused me. Buildings on a lemur dwarfed this one. The No Limits Sexatorium alone is 270 floors of hot, steamy action, according to the intrusive advertisements I used to pick up on my radio antenna.
His human radio antenna.
Yeah.
Oryx smiled and patted Humie on the back. I recollect my first time observing this building. Humie, the first time I visited New York, seeing it, this place, it was a balm to my soul after the destruction of the colony. It was the last place I came as a free man before returning home and starting my self-imposed incarceration. Humie detected a small tone in the distance, but he ignored it. The kid told me he had been in the big house, the cooler, old chokey, the old place you get sent to when you commit a felony.
Ah, that old place.
I was more shocked than when I'd mistaken a charging port for my dame in the dark.
I love how he's monologuing as a fucking private dick.
He'd always seemed the tall, scaly and dangerous type that could sweep her toots off her gams, even though he sounded like he'd downed a thesaurus cocktail whole and went back for a dictionary chaser.
That's genius.
You're gonna run out of fucking old-timey words, man.
I did.
Yeah, you gotta start digging deep, man.
A series of skittering screeches could be heard, and the pair of them suddenly turned to watch a wave of brown New York City rats rushing down the alleyway, carrying gems, wallets, contraband, and cash. Behind them ran a fox dragging a bag full of police-issued pistols and shotguns, and as the fox saw them, he gave a finger gun, winked at them, and said, "You ain't seen nothing, capiche?"
Damn, that fox is cool as shit.
New favorite character.
Humie hummed, louder to counter the pitched ring in his auditory sensors. It wasn't the type of fox I had wanted to walk into my life, hoping for one with hair hotter than my nuclear core and legs as long as my programming code. Oryx winced, his jaw set in. The piercing noise was getting louder. How Chandleresque of you, my friend. Coming here will help me understand. The pitch settled on a solid, ear-splitting note, and Oryx suddenly stopped mid-sentence. As his eyes glazed over, a thick line of drool descended from his mouth, and he turned and staggered in the direction of the Southside docks in the midnight air. Humie looked down at a bag the rats had dropped, turning it out in his hands. Small, crystal-clear gems cascading onto polished metal. Uncut, pure, diamonds, like angels' tears, or small pieces of compressed carbon.
Yeah, almost exactly like that.
You don't find this sort of clarity outside of fine jewellers or a serial polygamist who loves engagement parties. Right, kid? Oryx? He looked down the street to find his friend staggering off and decided to follow at a distance to practice his covert sneaking style, which was largely tiptoeing and telling passers-by to shush. The maitre d' turned the card over in his hand with a sneer barely disguised by his Ponzi soup strainer that was thinner than Adam's last nerve. And who exactly did you say gave you this invite, sir? Adam's teeth gnashed together like gravel, and the sound made the colour drain from the prick until he was whiter than an Arkansas school marching band.
Wow. I told you already. Ask Jeeves. Some creature from the Black Bayou dropped it off and then tried to slam me in the next week. So why don't you goose step to one side and let me in before I punch your mom in the jaw and give you an adult circumcision?
Man, that's so weird. We were just talking about
I know. Little Lord Stickass moved in a flop sweat and got his two heavies to open the door. And Adam made a mental note because the three-piece he was wearing from Sideways Sal's substantial and sizable suits didn't
Sideways Sal.
didn't have pockets big enough for his notebook. Of the muscle on display here, and walked into a ballroom packed with New York's male elite. Male celebs and male sports stars mixed with male politicians and even more unsavoury male characters, if that could be believed. A carefully started fire could wipe out most of the New York scum and misogyny overnight. But then, what would Adam do for work? The room, on the other hand, had a classy elegance, with wide double staircase at the far end of the room leading to a stage where a giant clamshell stood open. Inside the shell, a woman lay across a bed of naked men, clad head to toe in leather, with random titillating windows cut out of the leather to show what Adam first thought was pink skin. But on prolonged inspection, the flesh was blue-tinged, as if they pulled a woman out of the Hudson. Patches of scaled flesh and her eyes, a couple of wet and clouded marbles bulging from the leather and zipped-up gimp mask she wore. Admiring the scenery, Mr. Frankenstein? It is a beautiful setup here, isn't it? A voice seemed to come out of nowhere, and Adam looked around before feeling a tug at the hem of his black dress trousers. He looked down to find a small, plump-faced mobster with shark-like features circling him.
Does Batman know you're here, Oswald? Oh, wait. Is Snow White missing a henchman? I assume you're the eighth one. Impotent.
Adam smirked, pleased with his quick wit and understanding why he didn't have many friends. Walk with me, Mr.
I'm right here, Rich.
Walk with me, Mr. Frankenstein. The clearly peeved man swirled his martini as he sauntered along, Adam annoyingly having to walk in pigeon steps not to outpace him. The name is Boopy de Beppy. I'm one of the heads of the 5 families.
Sorry for the lack of surprise. I left my shocked gasps back at Sideways Sal's when he told me to deposit it as rental, which, given you're probably about to turn it into a Mothman or some shit, I suppose I'm not getting back now.
Adam followed, but found himself distracted by a scene playing out across the room, as a guy in a trench coat was trying to drag the crocodile he had tussled with earlier away as he marched across the room to the staircase. The reptile was dressed differently, but there was no doubt it was him. Beppy laughed. You think we brought you here to fight? If we wanted you dead, we could have just whacked you in your office, or that hoagie place you frequent twice a day, or that Twilight pornography cinema you frequent when you can't sleep. Adam stopped.
If you think stalking me like a lovesick teenager is intimidating, you ain't familiar with some of my body of work, Bumpo, or whatever sad Italian cloud name you said. I'm a literal literary monster, okay? I don't scare so easy.
The trenchcoat guy had now been stopped by security, and Adam felt the sudden urge to help another dick who was just trying to do his job. We're here to hire you, Beppy smirked before finishing his drink and passing it to a waitress. We are on the brink of something big here. Adam waved his hands in front of him to stop Beppy.
Whoa there, Tony Smallprano. I don't work for the mob. Whatever hustle you got going on here, I want no part of it. Except maybe some of those delicious-looking canopies?
Yeah, canapes.
Okay.
Canapes.
Except maybe... sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
It's alright, it's okay, it's okay.
Yep.
Except maybe some of those delicious-looking canopies. It's been a few days since I ate anything but peanut butter from the jar.
Oh, no, Adam. We don't want to hire you. We have some innocents to exploit, and we want to pay you to look the other way, to take a break from your endeavors. Beppy smiled again, the sort of smile that made Adam want to cave his teeth in, and he gestured to one side where the crocodile from outside his office, still in his poster uniform, had approached. He held out a briefcase and opened it. It was small stacks of pilfered, blood-splattered money. There must have been $5,000 in there, enough to retire to Carbo and die surrounded by fine liquor and finer liquors. Adam's eyes...
In Cabo?
Well. Adam's eyes narrowed.
Oh, my little meatball. In a New York minute, you're gonna wish you'd stopped explaining.
Hume still grasped at Oryx's sleeve as the mobsters surrounded him, trying to jostle him to one side. He had tried to fight them off, eager to not abandon the friend who had not abandoned him at his worst. He sent an electric shock through his body, straight into anyone he was in contact with and sending them flying. Oryx stopped stock still, shaking his head as if trying to remove the fog. He looked around, confused at his surroundings, and then looked thankful when he turned to find Hume. "My friend, what is happening?" he muttered, afraid. Across the room, a young Oryx was shaking off the fog too, and Oryx and he locked eyes. "No." "What?" "No, not this," he muttered before seeing the diminutive shape of Boopy de Beppy, and snarling. You were to blame for everything I did." Hume jumped over an incoming fist and added a strong strip magnet to it on his way through. He then dodged an incoming headbutt and put the magnets opposite on his attacker's forehead.
Oh my god!
As he activated a button on his chest panel, the fist and head slammed together, knocking the man out as he punched himself in the head.
Why are you hitting yourself?
"Friend Oryx, we must go now. A distinct statistical disadvantage is presented here." Another fist flew his way, and he opened his chest plate so that the man's arms embedded itself into his internal mechanisms, being broken in 14 places by the various cogs and pistons that empowered him. He released the man and declared loudly, "Incapacitate mode enabled," bringing out various arms filled with kitchen utensils. He became a whirling dervish of culinary violence, thwanging pots, pans and ladles off mob heavies' heads and sending them to the ground. "No, Hume, I can kill him now. I might be able..." Oryx began, before the giant in the impeccably tailored suit gave the mobster a haymaker that sent him into the bandstand at the top of the stairs. The hulk of a man turned to Oryx and smiled from amongst a face of stitch and scar. In return, Oryx nodded a thanks to his friend by way of enemy, and marched towards his younger self. How is this possible?" Young Oryx studied the face of his future self. Oryx placed a clawed hand on his young shoulder. "Time travel. Complicated backstory."
Don't touch yourself, time cop rules!
"Time travel. Complicated backstory. Numerous mother jokes I find uncouth, but not enough to be killed for narrative device, may I add." "How long have you been here?" He looked into nothingness. "Weeks, I think. The things he's made me do. The murders. Oh gods," he sobbed. "How do we live with it? I went back to my present and sent myself to prison to atone, to learn, to centre myself. You will recover. You will have friends like Hume and Kellen and a Norn called Hallgrim," the young one exclaimed. "He and Asher spent time on the colony with me before I came here." Oryx was dumbstruck. "They're all right? Did they escape? I don't remember this." He racked his memory. Hallgrim and Asher were never with him on the colony. The first he had seen them had been in the prison complex. How was that possible? Were they somehow changing time without altering their own pasts? His younger self had only been here weeks, but Oryx knew the abuse, the manipulation in his own past had been years. It just didn't make sense. Hume sauntered over to the stitch-faced man and eyed up his giant hand cannon and also his pistol. The man looked him up and down with a puzzled expression. "The man mountain weighed me up, unsure about this gumshoe robot who became a man. Could they be allies? Private pugilists? Illustrious investigators? Dangerous dicks? Both of them with a common enemy suddenly? By the way, his name was also Hume." Adam couldn't help but smirk.
Adam Frankenstein. Anyone who has a beef with this little shit stain is all right in my book. You hear me, Beppy? Come out now or I'll shove so much dead fist down your throat you think you'll inherited your dad's penchant for necrophilia.
Wow.
Oh.
Fuck, that's fucked up.
Oh, if you think you're dead now, you don't know the half of it, Beppy shouted back from the balustrade.
Not questioning the necrophilia, huh? Slightly weirded out by that, but who am I to judge?
Adam muttered at Humie's shrug. De Beppe stood at the clamshell alongside the blind dominatrix, giving a sick smirk before he unzipped the woman's mask. A single note that was layered with harmony filled the room, and Adam could feel his free will slipping. He clasped hands over his ears, turning as the two crocodiles seemed to be being whipped into a frenzy, their mouths frothing at the tone. Adam watched as other wild animals, rats, foxes, snakes and the like, waited on the sidelines and stared, slavering at him like a packed lunch.
She's a siren!
Yeah.
Adam shouted over the voice to his new robot companion. Humie looked around and made a visual assessment. They were outnumbered and outgunned with no escape route. On the plus side, his new ally seemed to be somewhat resistant to siren song. He looked up, then wrapped his entire body around Adam, clipping his hands and feet together like a harness.
Hey, pal, buy me dinner first!
Adam grunted as Humie shot a hook through the skylight above them as the animals advanced, then hoisted the pair swiftly up into the night sky. Boopy de Beppe turned to the siren, who stepped down on the backs of the men with her stiletto heels, a cat of nine tails in her hand. She swatted at the male party guests gently with the whip, licking her lips at their grimaces of pain as she walked down the stairs. She walked to a position under the broken skylight, bathing in the moonlight, her pallid flesh still moist in the glow. When she opened her blind, milky eyes, she turned to the two crocodile men and held them she held under her thrall, patting them on the snouts as she whispered, "Find them and bring them back to me, so they might feel my love."
Whoa, I hope it's me.
Adam had his pistol drawn as he kicked the door to the safe house, a mortuary, open. He had come by the safe house option because the mortuary assistant had a certain thing for the dead, and that made Adam the Clark Gable of the necro scene.
Oh my god, that is even more fucked
That's
up
not
than
canon,
anything.
everybody.
That is...
I didn't say they did it. Once they were inside, Humie detached from him
It's okay to look.
and leaned against a cadaver before apologising to it, not registering it was dead.
What was that Ringling Brothers shit, Humie? We needed to stand there and duke it out mano a mano, or more accurately, giant hole-tearing weaponry to Siren Dominatrix.
Adam threw the gun to an empty slab with a clang. Humie brought a candy cigarette like those ones our parents used to buy us because, hey, a kid is smoking is funny, and then beat our asses if they ever found weed or cigarettes in our room.
Yo. Yup.
And
Too real.
brought it to his open mouth slot. His fingertip flipped open and a flame grew out of the empty hole. He brought it to the candy, which instantly reduced to a burnt marshmallow consistency and dribbled down his trench coat.
Is it the chalky one or
Yeah,
the blow out the smoke?
The chalky one.
Yeah.
He threw his head back and sighed. Ah, flavour country. The dick, not in a human genitals way, but in a private eye sense. Adam rolled his eyes as he locked and bolted the door.
Thanks for clarifying, buddy.
Did not realise that this old, grizzled investigator had lost so many friends already and couldn't risk the crazy crocodile partner of mine becoming some sort of seafood broil. We too know that when you put yourselves between innocence and the inevitableness of crime, you might well take a bullet, or in this case, several bullets from the mob and siren of ancient Greece. They were both married to the job, kind of like those weirdos who marry non-humanoids like trains or amusement rides or Kanye West, but for the two of them it was even more sexual.
Humie!
Adam shouted, taking the prop from the day the earth stood still, shaking the prop from the day the earth stood still, even though Adam couldn't have possibly seen that movie as it wasn't out for another 20 years.
Despite being in desperate need of bolt lightning, you seem like there's some brains in that head of yours. They'll be coming for us, and we gotta have a plan to take them out safely before they get here. I don't want to be shocked, caught with our pants down.
Humie's eyes lit up like whenever your mum's phone rings before she realises it's just some call centre trying to steal her bank account details, and she's so lonely she gives them over just to have someone to talk to for 5 minutes. That one's just sad.
That's sad as fuck.
Linda getting fucking roasted today.
Partner, you are closer than a hot day in July. When I gave Oryx the old 5-finger slowdown and sent some voltage, he was calm as a turkey on the 26th of December. See? Pipe.
That's not. Oh, you're talking about Boxing Day. Okay.
Pipes.
I thought you were trying to go for Thanksgiving,
No.
which is.
I was going for a real holiday.
Turkey would not be calm on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
They are in America, so I don't know why you picked Boxing Day.
Pipes gurgled in the back bathroom, but the two were too engrossed to hear.
You're saying a large zap might knock the stupid out of him long enough for us to send this living, breathing Billy Bass back to the depths of evil she came from, the New Jersey harbor?
Jesus.
The dead man walking got it, but he hadn't pegged that the signal would then need to be constantly blocked. The singing psycho could just find another frequency to play with, and we'd be on the long expressway back to square one, Starting Point Avenue, state of North Beginningsville.
Christ.
The clanking of the plumbing became louder, and the pair of them turned slowly.
Don't worry your tin head about it. Probably just old piping.
The toilet and sink began to shake violently as the sound got louder.
How, build-up of pressure up the way can cause weird noises and clanks that...
The toilet bowl exploded and sprayed them with sharp shards of porcelain. Adam stepped forward and took the brunt of it instinctively, then wiped a firm hand down his front to remove the shards from his body. A crocodilian arm came from the hole in the bathroom, and 2 glassy eyes appeared in the dark of the room.
We released 2 angry crocodiles into a formidable safe house. Ugh, I ain't getting this deposit back now,
said Adam.
You ready with that shock, Tin Man?
Humie removed his hat and put up his dukes, nodding. But we still need to block their... Sorry, you're not reading this bit. Adam folded his jacket. I mean, I'm not.
Wow.
Adam folded his jacket and placed it on the slab, loosening his bow tie.
I know, partner. Leave it to me.
He charged at the advancing older Oryx with all the grace of a T-Rex doing jump rope and connected a sock across the first crocodile's jaw before hopping his tail and stomping on the younger Oryx's face, who was climbing from the pipe. Humie held his hat up to the older Oryx's snout, then punched clean through the brim, poking Oryx in the eyes. Older Oryx howled in pain. Why the long face, pal of mine?
Less joshing, more shocking,
Adam yelled back, just as he felt a crunching in his arm at the wrist. Not really pain, but awareness. And when he looked back, young Oryx had chomped clean through his hand, leaving detached fingers still wiggling on the floor.
Ugh. Joke's on you, Scaly. That wasn't even my hand,
he said as he cracked his attacker across the face.
Humie!
But Humie was being hoisted up over Oryx's head, the gargantuan beast trying to tear him in two. The totally legit human stayed stock still, not fighting. Internally, his entire runtime was being devoted to a massive electrical shock that would take down an entire city block. He was at 98%. But then he felt a tear in his servos at the waist, heard the twisting of steel and bearings, and everything went dark. 2 halves of Humie's shell and a handless and bleeding Adam Frankenstein were deposited roughly on the high stage in front of the novelty clamshell. The 2 Oryxes stood proud with dazed looks on their faces as a leashed Boopy de Beppy helped his mob queen down from her throne. She unzipped her mask.
Loves Boopy de Beppy.
She unzipped her mask, her forked tongue tasting the air as her clouded eyes flicked sightlessly between the formers in front of her. She pulled at the chain around de Beppy's neck, and he gasped. With a sharp fingernail, she scratched a thin line of blood down his cheek and then licked at her finger. Ugh. Cheap marinara and cholesterol medication.
They don't have cholesterol medication in 1932.
Aspirin. This thin, male blood is so boring and predictable, but these 4 specimens... She stepped over the bodies to inspect the crocodiles. Men out of time, beasts and constructs I can use to cement control of the 5 families, to put a woman's touch on the evil of this land. From behind her...
Say let her do it. Let her do it.
From behind her came a tap on the shoulder, and as she turned, Adam stood tall over her, Humie's torso on his back with his fingers in Adam's ears. "Get them! Destroy them, my beloveds!" she screamed at the oryxes, before noticing the thin slits of tough skin behind their eyes where their ears were. Weird research you have to do for Storylords, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Was stuffed with Adam Frankenstein's discarded meaty digits. She spun back to Adam with a sneer. "I'm sorry, madam. You'll have to speak up," old Oryx smiled.
Who has 1 thumb and is about to turn you into fish sticks, bitch?
Adam brought a thumb and a stumpy hand without fingers up to his head. The fist that slammed the siren in the face wasn't exactly his usual, and it lacked the normal face-hole causing power. But the fishy freak went over the side and fell to the floor faster than your mum slut-dropping and twerking at a family summer barbecue.
Jesus.
She landed in a heap of broken bones, blue-black blood leaking from her smashed-up body. "And thus the case of the Gimpy Guppy was closed, gentlemen," Humie announced. "Well, fellas, looks like I'm gonna mosey back on home free from my now obvious manipulations by that woman. Back to my life of innocence and regular charitable donations." Boopy de Beppy started to sidle away as the 4 men turned to him before breaking into a run. Luckily, his little legs couldn't carry him far, and the young Oryx pounced on him instantly. "I'll eviscerate you, you filth," he roared. But before Oryx could punish his imprisoner, the air cracked and the taste of ozone flooded their mouths. A rift opened to one side, sucking the 2 of them in instantly. But as soon as it opened, it was gone, and the 3 remaining men were left alone in the ballroom. As they descended the stairs in silence, Oryx peered over the railing to find that the siren had gone. "It appears our Beastmaster has vanished."
Don't worry, pal. They'll all turn up eventually.
Adam shrugged, holding out a stump. "Like a bad penny," Humie said before fist-bumping Adam's stumped hand and causing him to wince in pain. 3 weeks later, Oryx and Humie sat in Adam's cramped office, surrounding a table full of case files that Oryx was filing and organising. Humie had been a revelation in researching and admin, and Oryx handled all correspondence and invoicing clients, leaving Adam to his talents, shooting people and public relations. The pair of them had been a breath of fresh air for Adam, who wasn't used to having... friends? Were they friends? The word sounded alien in his head. He hadn't had many of those in his long life. "Finished," Humie announced as he finished the last stitch on Adam's new hand, while his 3rd and 4th arms were repairing the dinner jacket rental.
A new mitt and my deposit back. Pay coming in regularly? You 2 can stay anytime,"
Adam said, flexing his new fingers, then chewed the inside of his cheek as he turned away looking at the wall.
I mean, if you guys can, if you want to. I'm not saying you have to or anything, but now you missed your rift, there's space for you here.
He shrugged. Oryx put a hand to Adam's shoulder. "Something tells me we'll be vacating soon, my friend. But if we're wrong, this serendipitous and fortuitous locale is something we could both call our domicile."
"All right, Thesaurus Rex,"
Adam said, shaking Oryx's hand.
"We don't gotta pick out our wedding gifts or anything."
Humie tilted his head. "Plus, there is nothing stopping us coming back when our work is finished. If even we get a chance to rejoin our friends, that is." As if on cue, a ball of purple-tinged lightning appeared in the ceiling and tore open violently. The small room became a maelstrom, case files and papers circling in a vortex. Adam gripped the table and grabbed at his new copy of Women's Bare Ankles Weekly, ducking his head down to avoid getting hit in the face by the tornado of paper. When the electricity died down, he stood to find his 2 friends gone. He looked down at the mess of papers and the dinner jacket Humie hadn't finished mending yet.
Figures.
Adam said, slumping down in his chair and opening his magazine. The end.
What a great crossover.
You fucking pulled it off, man. I knew you could, but you pulled it off so goddamn well.
I
was
had
so
much fun
so
writing
good.
that. It was so much fun.
So good.
It's like you're free of the burdens of doing things with your own characters.
Yeah.
It's so
So
good.
you can just have one of my characters fucking Undertaker and say that that's canon.
I mean,
Fuck him. I fucked him.
I mean, I assume the mortuary assistant was a woman, but
It doesn't matter.
well, it doesn't
He
matter.
didn't
I guess
fuck
I'm not.
the
I'm not like
mortuary assistant.
32,
sexuality,
women
just-
couldn't go outside,
Oh, that's
all right?
true, that's
so
true.
that's not...
Is she showing an ankle? Because she's going to lose the job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
if you don't show ankle.
But also, I assume that it was just like he's a celebrity to them, right? He's
That makes sense.
every
Yeah.
mortuary worker knows who Frankenstein
Yeah.
is. It's pretty
That makes
racist,
sense.
Rich.
You know, I might. There's no promise to this. I might incorporate that character for when Frankenstein needs repairs.
Oh,
Just Humie
that's a
comes
great
back and he's
idea.
No, not Hubie,
I'm
the
back.
mortuary.
Oh, yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's good.
Frankenstein does know people, just very few.
Yeah, he doesn't need friends. He needs people he can use to get.
Well, there's
get his
always
work done.
right. There's always like a mousy woman, right, in a detective story
Yeah.
who's
Yeah.
like the secretary, and like she always loves the detective, and the detective's like, yeah, whatever. You know?
Yeah. I desperately wanted to do a siren dominatrix. Like when I thought
That's
about
genius.
because you'd have to zip up a mask because otherwise she'd just control you all the time, right?
Yeah. Well, that's what Boopy de Beppy would say.
Did you like my sort of New York accent? Was it okay?
It was pretty good.
You were doing
it
one?
wasn't
Good.
bad.
Good. Shut up!
No, it was pretty good, man.
Nah, it was not bad.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. Well, you're not American.
You did that
so-
perfect Adam Frankenstein voice the whole
Yeah,
time.
I
Yeah,
did.
that was so good.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry I randomly didn't talk much this episode. I'm not sure
It's
why.
alright.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Didn't even laugh.
You were just blown away by his voice.
I was just enjoying his rendition of Adam Frankenstein so much.
What a fucking great story.
Yeah, it was.
I hope you don't have to make me not read as a character.
I'm gonna have him visit Reese's in a couple of weeks.
I'm ready for it. You just give me the word. Get back to your hole, old
Oh
man.
my god, he lives in a hole?
That's what he calls it. It's just a messy room.
Just his butt.
Get back in your own butt.
I would if I could, you know.
So we have now 8 episodes left, which I thought we
Yep.
had one more, which has messed up my plan slightly. But I'll
what?
sort
That's
that
what you
out.
get for having plans.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
don't
true.
have plans.
Don't have
and
plans.
That way you won't mess up.
That's true. Don't have dreams and you'll never be disappointed.
Don't try and you'll never be disappointed.
That's good advice.
Yep.
Wow.
But if you want to afford that 55-gallon drum of lube, we better start trying.
The beginning of the episode is a colonic irrigation for anxiety and/or depression, and then we bring it right back.
They used to call it something else. It had a name.
I
Before.
don't understand why enema is wrong.
It's not, no, because it was like the tube. It's like you sit with the tube. Oh my god, it's going to drive me.
I'm just gonna fucking Google it because I'm colon cleansing.
No, it had like a different name.
I am staring at the camera the Office style.
Yes, I can feel it.
It is enema.
No, it was a different name.
Bernard.
It was a different dude. I remember watching a 2020 about it.
Yeah, the lady couldn't stop getting enemas.
It was called something else.
On that, we're gonna close the cover on this week's episode. We're gonna pick some prompts. So can we bring out the All-C prompt ball, please?
I'm going to interrupt. Is the word you're looking for clyster?
No. That's a Pokemon name.
Cloister.
Oh, his brother's name was Clyster.
The species of Pokemon's brother was named Clyster.
Yep.
Just do the outro.
Our first prompt this week is Junkyards by Sean Tabor. Junkyards, interesting. And then
That's
the
a good
second
one.
one is Bodybuilders by Cameron Ganzerveld.
Oh, fuck yes.
Bodybuilders and Junkyards. That's going to be an interesting one. Now, if you, fair dear listener, listened to those prompts and thought, oh, those are good, but I can do better, man. I've got the prompt of a century in me. It's enemas. Then you can head on over.
No, it's not that. It's
Clysters and enemas.
Then you can head on over to patreon.com/storylords, and for as little as $5, you can suggest prompts. We've got a hefty list. I want to say a big thank you to Malanite who put the list together for me. So it's a lot easier than going to Patreon and just randomly allocating numbers now, because I can just put them all into. They're all in an Excel. He did that because he's a little gem.
Colonic. The word is colonic.
oh.
So the word you couldn't think of
It was
for colonic irrigation was colonic.
But they just called it a colonic.
Look, I was always against Josh being fired.
but times they are a changing.
He's made some good points. It is his pro-fire in defence.
He's made some good points, Rich Josh.
So for $5, you get access to the Discord, which has a load of cool people on it, and they all converse on basically anything you can fucking think of right now, and they're all very cool people. And you can suggest prompts, and you get access to the stories on patreon.com. Then for $10, you get access to any side podcast we do, like Afterlords or Redesigned by Committee or anything else we'll do in the future. And then for $25, you get basically your name printed in the book when that book of the first season comes out. Right. So, big thanks as always to Vidizen for the use of his music during the show. He does the intro, does the outro, he does all the breaks. You can find out anything about Greg at vidizen.card.co. I mean, not anything. You can't find out what his favourite flower is.
Daisy.
Oh, wait, you can.
Oh, wow. I do want it to be known that Vidizen's band Santosha is playing on 5:30 at the SO Arts in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Ooh.
Not 5:30 p.m.
No.
May 30th.
Yeah. May 30th.
Yeah, thanks for that, because I wouldn't have realised what you were talking about.
Yeah, you would have been late because you got a long way to go.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
On May 30th, Santosha will be playing at SO Arts in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Be there or fuck you.
Damn!
Wow.
That's a win-win either way.
I will do my casting call of the Patreon fans, as always. So a big thanks to Stephen, Pez King, Jonathan Anderson, Werewolf Bar Mitzvah, Sarah Kemp, Anthony Stoker, Henry Roselar, who's our king of patrons, Sean Tabor, Squid Ludwig, Federico Rodriguez, and Heath Robinson. You are all beautiful people. We love all our patrons.
Go to the website.
But we clearly love those patrons the best. Now,
They're the most loved.
why are we saying go to the website?
Tell them about the website.
I will, when it's time in my list to go to the website.
Motherfucker, why does this...
So,
We got reviews.
Josh never does.
that's what I was
We got
going to do
reviews.
next. Leave us a review at
Damn!
iTunes. Have we got any reviews, Jeff?
I don't know. I feel like we should have told them about the website already.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Have we
Oh,
got
yeah, we
any
got
reviews, Jeff?
Honeymoon's over, boy.
Yeah, we got 2 new reviews.
Ooh. You read them, please.
We got one from the 13th from Crimson Lunar.
Ooh.
It is entitled "Take Your Pants Off for This Pod to Save on Cleaning Bills." Josh, Jeff, and Rich each bring such unique styles and stories every episode that I'm always eagerly awaiting the next. The worlds and characters are also wonderfully wacky and endearing. I've been a fan of the boys' various works for a long time. Continue, fantasy fiction, OGOC, etc. So give them a listen and you won't be disappointed. From a man, unfortunately, also named Evan. Rich is always mad at me. 5 stars.
Oh, this guy's my new favourite Evan.
Oh no!
That was easy.
Wow.
Well, I mean, if my son
and-
can't be bothered to leave a review, then, you know, fuck it.
That's
Is
right.
he really your son if he won't leave a review?
Yeah, he's dead to
Thanks,
me.
thanks a lot, Evan.
And we have another one from the 15th of this month from Strike to the Heart.
Oh, that's a good name as well.
This is a
man.
podcast for someone, aka me. A goofy, spooky, and raunchy ride through all the best stories that have ever been written the night before they are due.
I mean,
I got recommended this podcast by my brother a year ago, and now I'm finally caught up. Thanks for giving me 2 seasons of uncontrollable laughter, Story Lords. 5 stars.
Thank you.
And he brings up a great point here. Recommend us to your siblings. Recommend us to your weird uncles. Recommend us to your friends, because that is the way that we get a higher listenership and we can still produce this show twice a month. Thank you.
Don't recommend us to anyone named Evan.
No, I can't have too many Evans around me. It'll be a bit traumatic
Yeah.
for me.
Your kid is going to be like, why didn't they name me Joey?
Yeah, so leaving us a review really helps us. So if you could leave us a review wherever you listen to the podcast, that would be absolutely fantastic. You can send us an email if you want at storylordspod@gmail.com. We occasionally read them. And anything else you want to know about us, you can find at storylords.card.co or storylords.page.
He did it! He said it!
He said it!
Yeah, this was a good episode.
Yeah, it was great.
I mean, they
It's good
always
that we
are
do
It's good that we do a good one every now and then.
Yeah.
Gotta throw him a bone every now and then, you know?
I think our only non-excellent episode was the first one because we were still finding our feet, right?
Yeah.
I think that was the best one. It's before we got all fucking Pulitzer Prize winning.
Yeah. Before we won all those Pulitzers.
I mean,
Jeff's just like sitting like in a like one of those egg chairs with just like Pulitzers around his neck.
They're really heavy. Holy shit.
he's
I
like,
don't even know what they look like.
he's wearing them like a Wu-Tang Clan necklace.
It's like a fucking bling, yeah. Like it's 2005 and he's like 50 Cent.
With that, we're gonna go because we've got to probably record after Lords. So yeah, thank you for listening. As always, we love you all. But we especially love our patrons. So if you want to be a patron, you can head over to patreon.com/storylords. With that, we're going to go. As always, it's been a pleasure. See you in 2 weeks. Bye.
We love you.
I'm ready to tell my story, gents. Hello? Guys? Maybe it's next Monday. Hello? Fiddle dicks.